In the heart of the North Pole, where the air is crisp and the snow sparkles like diamonds, lies Santa's magical workshop. It's a bustling place, filled with the sound of laughter, the clink of toy-making tools, and the soft hum of Christmas carols. Here, in this snowy wonderland, worked a cheerful little elf named Ellie. Ellie loved everything about Christmas, but more than anything, she loved bringing joy to others. While her fellow elves worked hard making toys, Ellie dreamed of doing something special, something more magical than ever before. This Christmas, she wanted to give the most wonderful gift of all, one that would touch the hearts of everyone who saw it. As she worked at her station, creating delicate wooden animals and beautifully painted dolls, Ellie's mind raced with ideas. But she couldn't shake the feeling that this year needed to be different. She wanted her gift to be more than just a toy. It needed to be something that could make a child smile, and maybe even warm their heart in ways they never imagined. One crisp morning, as Ellie was polishing a wooden train, she had an idea. What if she could create something magical? Something that could never be made by any machine. Something that would come from the heart. And so, with her mind set, she set off to find the materials she would need. Ellie knew that the first thing she would need was a golden ribbon, a rare, shimmering ribbon that could only be found at the top of the candy cane tree, the tallest tree in the North Pole. The golden ribbon, wrapped around its branches, was said to hold the magic of Christmas itself. Her second item, stardust, could only be gathered on the night of the annual meteor shower. The stars themselves would fall from the sky, and Ellie had to catch as many as she could before they disappeared into the morning light. And finally, she needed a magical pine cone, which could be found deep within the enchanted forest, guarded by a friendly snowman who lived there. This pine cone, when held close, was said to fill the heart with warmth and joy, just the kind of gift Ellie wanted to create. With her heart full of excitement, Ellie set off on her journey, leaving the warmth and bustle of Santa's workshop behind. She walked through the snowy streets of the North Pole village, past the twinkling houses and the bustling streets filled with Christmas cheer. The air was crisp, and the snow crunched softly beneath her feet as she made her way toward the towering candy cane tree. The candy cane tree stood tall and majestic, its branches heavy with shimmering candy canes. At the very top, glistening in the pale winter sun, was the golden ribbon, glowing like a beam of sunlight in the snow. But the tree was so tall that Ellie knew she would need help to reach the ribbon. She thought for a moment, then smiled. She had the perfect idea. "I'll need to get creative," she said to herself. Ellie quickly built a sturdy snow ladder, packing the snow tight to make sure it would hold. She climbed with determination, her heart racing with excitement. As she reached the top of the tree, she carefully untangled the golden ribbon and wrapped it gently around her arms. The ribbon sparkled and twinkled, its magical glow illuminating the whole forest as she descended back to the ground with her prize. The next part of Ellie's journey took her to the snowy hills, where the annual meteor shower would soon take place. The sky above was clear and bright, and Ellie found a cozy spot in the hills to watch the stars. She knew the stardust would fall any moment now. Suddenly, the sky erupted in a shower of shooting stars, streaks of light crossing the heavens in a dazzling display. Ellie's eyes widened with awe as the stardust drifted down like soft, glowing snowflakes. She carefully gathered the magical dust in her little pouch, feeling the warmth of the stars as she held them close. "This is it," Ellie whispered to herself. "This is going to be the best gift ever." The final part of Ellie's journey led her deep into the enchanted forest, a mystical place filled with shimmering snow and twinkling lights. The trees here seemed to whisper secrets, and the air was thick with magic. Ellie knew that the magical pine cone could only be found at the heart of the forest, where the friendly snowman guarded it with care. As Ellie entered the forest, she spotted a snowman standing proudly in the clearing. He was large and round, with a carrot nose and a scarf made of twigs. His eyes twinkled with kindness, and he smiled warmly as Ellie approached. "Hello, Ellie," the snowman said, his voice deep but gentle. "I see you seek the magical pine cone, but it is not so easy to find. You must prove that you have a kind heart, for this pine cone only reveals itself to those who wish to share joy with others." Ellie nodded eagerly and explained her mission. The snowman smiled and stepped aside, revealing the magical pine cone nestled beneath a snowy tree. Ellie carefully picked it up, feeling its warmth as it filled her heart with the true spirit of Christmas. "Thank you," Ellie said softly. "This is exactly what I need." With all three ingredients in hand, Ellie made her way to a small, quiet village just outside the North Pole. It was a village where people lived simple lives, and one house stood out from the others, a small cottage with a lonely child inside. The child, a little boy named Jack, had lost his parents a few years ago and spent every Christmas alone. He had never received a toy from Santa, as he lived far from the North Pole, and his home was tucked away in the quiet corners of the world. Ellie approached his window quietly, her heart full of love. She set the magical gift, beautifully wrapped in the golden ribbon, by his doorstep. As Jack stepped outside to see the glowing gift, his eyes widened in wonder. "A gift? For me?" he whispered, his voice filled with awe. The joy on his face was enough to light up the whole town. He hugged the toy Ellie had made with all her love tightly to his chest, a smile spreading across his face as bright as the Christmas star. "Thank you, Ellie," Jack said, his voice soft with gratitude. Ellie's heart swelled with happiness as she watched him hug the gift. She had brought the true magic of Christmas to someone in need. Ellie returned to the North Pole, her heart light and filled with joy. She knew that the greatest gift of all wasn't the one she had just given. It was the happiness she had shared, the joy of giving, of spreading kindness, and the love that wrapped the whole world in a warm embrace. When Ellie returned to Santa's workshop, he was waiting for her with a wide smile. "You've done it, Ellie. Your kindness has made this Christmas one to remember," he said, his voice filled with pride. And so Ellie learned that the best gifts are the ones that come from the heart. As she watched the stars twinkle above, she knew that no matter how big or small, the magic of Christmas was about the love we share. Good night, little dreamers. As you snuggle under your blankets and close your eyes, let the magic of Christmas fill your heart. May your dreams be filled with snowflakes, twinkling lights, and the warmth of love. Let your dreams take you to a land full of wonder, where magic is real and the spirit of Christmas lives in every snowflake.
It's Christmas Eve. The snow falls gently, blanketing a quiet village in shimmering white. Through frosted windows, glowing fireplaces flicker, stockings hang neatly above, and children settle into bed with hearts full of wonder. The world feels peaceful, almost enchanted, as though the air itself carries the whispers of 1,000 tiny bells. But every great Christmas story begins here, in the stillness, in the glow of twinkling lights, where magic is waiting to be discovered. Tonight, we'll journey to places where the unexpected unfolds, where courage and kindness shine brighter than the stars above. Are you ready to step into a world where reindeer fly, elves spread joy, and Christmas magic feels just within reach? On the edge of a snowy forest, nestled under a blanket of stars, lived a small reindeer named Ruby. Her cozy burrow, lined with soft moss and glimmering icicles, overlooked a landscape of sparkling snowdrifts and towering pine trees. Tonight, the world seemed especially magical, silent except for the whisper of the wind and the faint hum of distant starlight. Ruby gazed out from her burrow, her bright eyes filled with dreams. She was the youngest in her herd, too small to join the other reindeer on their winter adventures. But Ruby's heart was full of wonder and hope. She would listen each night for the jingle of Santa's sleigh bells, imagining the day she might join his team. She had heard the stories, the bravery of the reindeer who guided Santa through blizzards, their hooves touching the clouds as they flew across the world. One day, Ruby whispered, "I'll be ready." As Ruby sat quietly by the entrance of her burrow, she heard something unusual. At first, it was faint, barely louder than the wind, but then it grew clearer, a soft melodic jingle. She froze, her ears twitching, her heart racing. Could it be? The sound was unlike anything she had heard before. A bell, shimmering and magical, like a note from a distant song. Ruby couldn't ignore it. The bell seemed to call to her, and before she knew it, her small hooves were crunching through the snow. The forest around her sparkled as the moonlight kissed the frost-covered branches. The sound grew louder, drawing her deeper into the woods. Ruby didn't know where it would lead, but she felt something special awaited her. She ventured further, her breath forming little clouds in the cold air. The trees loomed tall, their shadows stretching across the snowy ground. Ruby's excitement was tinged with a hint of nervousness, but she pressed on, determined to uncover the source of the mysterious bell. As Ruby traveled deeper into the forest, she realized she couldn't complete her journey alone. But just when she began to doubt herself, help arrived in the most unexpected ways. Perched on the branch of a towering oak tree, sat a majestic owl, his feathers glimmering faintly in the moonlight. His large, golden eyes blinked slowly as he watched Ruby approach. "Little one," the owl hooted, his voice deep and wise, "what brings you out on such a cold night?" Ruby explained about the jingling bell, her voice full of wonder and determination. The owl nodded thoughtfully. "I've heard that sound before," he said. "It belongs to something very important. I will guide you, but only if you can solve my riddle." Ruby hesitated but nodded. The owl's voice was steady as he recited, "In winter's grasp, I shine so bright, but vanish at the break of light. What am I?" Ruby thought hard, staring at the frost-covered forest around her. Finally, she smiled. "A star," she exclaimed. The owl chuckled and spread his wings. "Clever and brave," he said. "Follow the path beyond the frozen stream." Ruby reached the frozen stream the owl had mentioned. The ice shimmered like glass under the moonlight, but just as she was about to cross, a small, fluffy squirrel darted out from the bushes, chattering loudly. The squirrel eyed the small satchel Ruby carried, which held berries for her journey. Before she could react, the squirrel snatched a berry and darted toward the ice. Ruby chased after him, her hooves sliding on the slick surface. "Wait," Ruby called. The squirrel paused, looking back at her with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. But as he turned to run again, the ice cracked beneath his tiny feet. Ruby acted quickly, pulling him back to safety. Grateful but still cheeky, the squirrel chattered his thanks and led Ruby across the safest part of the stream. "You're braver than you look," he squeaked. Ruby smiled. "And you're kinder than you seem." As Ruby ventured further, a sudden gust of wind swirled snow around her, and the forest seemed to grow darker. She shivered, unsure of which way to go, but then, like tiny stars, snowflakes began to glow, lighting up a hidden path through the trees. The snowflakes danced around her, their light growing brighter as she followed them. They led her to a secret grove, where a massive Christmas tree stood, its branches adorned with shimmering lights and ornaments that seemed to hum with magic. Beneath the tree, Ruby found golden footprints, glowing faintly in the snow. She knew she was getting closer to the source of the bell and to something extraordinary. Ruby finally reached a clearing at the heart of the forest. There she saw it, Santa's sleigh, gleaming red and gold, stuck in a deep snowdrift. The reindeer team looked worried, their bells jingling faintly as they struggled to pull free. Santa himself stood nearby, scratching his head. "Oh dear," Santa said, his voice warm but concerned. "It seems the snow is too heavy and we can't move the sleigh. Christmas might be delayed." Ruby stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I can help," she said. Santa turned to her, his eyes twinkling. "Well, aren't you a brave little one?" Ruby joined the reindeer team, her small but determined hooves digging into the snow. Together they pushed and pulled with all their might. Slowly, the sleigh began to move. Cheers erupted as the sleigh finally broke free from the drift. Santa laughed heartily. "Ho, ho, ho, Ruby, your courage and kindness have saved Christmas. You're truly special." He placed a shimmering jingle bell around her neck, its sound filling the air with a magical melody. As Santa's sleigh soared into the sky, Ruby stood watching, her heart filled with pride. The golden footprints and glowing snowflakes guided her back to her burrow, where the night felt even more magical than before. Ruby curled up by her frosty window, and the jingle bell around her neck was a reminder of her bravery. As she closed her eyes, the sound of the bell echoed softly, carrying her into the sweetest dream. A dream where the magic of Christmas felt closer than ever. As we rest for a moment, wrapped in the warmth of Christmas, let your thoughts drift like the snowflakes outside. Feel the gentle glow of the tree and the soft crackle of the fire as it whispers stories of Christmas past. Take a deep breath, little one. The magic of the season is here, and soon we'll continue our journey. For now, relax. Let the sounds of Christmas surround you. The bells, the carols, the warmth of the fire. Let these moments of calm fill your heart with peace